I installed cameras to catch my wife cheating. What I saw in the footage traumatized me forever. It started a few months ago, around her birthday. Claire came home from work and was smelling like Axe body spray. At first I brushed it off. My wife would never cheat on me. She loves me. We have been faithful to each other for years, but then the doubts started to creep in. I've had to start working late shifts, weekends too. Since we have been behind on our mortgage, my time at home has literally been less than 5 or 6 hours a day, and most of that time was spent asleep. But she rarely complained. In fact, most of the time she seemed happier when I left. Then one day I tried to kiss her on her neck, and I saw a blemish there, as though someone else's lips had touched her skin. I kept trying to brush it off, but when she got pregnant, that was the final straw. We still made love on occasion, but I was certain that the baby wasn't mine. The timing of her pregnancy just didn't add up. That's when I made the mistake of confronting her head-on about it. Of course she denied. She yelled. She called me the bad guy. Typical cheater behavior. Worst of all, she got what she wanted. Insisted I start sleeping downstairs and saying that we needed a separation, maybe even a divorce. She was furious that I'd even think she would cheat on me, let alone get pregnant by another man. All I got out of it was desperation and depression. She insisted that she was still faithful to me, but all the signs were there. I just didn't have the proof to back it up. I couldn't wait 10 months for the baby to be born to find out if it was mine or not. I needed to know now. That's when I finally decided to contact my friend about it. "What you need is a security system for your home," my buddy Chad said one night when I went to drink away my troubles. "Wouldn't she realize what I was getting it for?" I pointed out. "So don't tell her. Wait until she is out of the house and make it discreet. You know, cameras in the smoke alarm, stuff like that," he said as he downed his whiskey. His half-brained scheme didn't sound that bad, and I knew that Claire had said she was going to spend the next few days at her mother's house to supposedly let things cool down between us. If I was going to get to the bottom of this, it was now or never. So that's what I did. As soon as I knew that she was gone, I contacted a local shop and had them come that afternoon. The technician didn't ask any questions, just put them exactly where I said that I wanted them, and even threw in one of those doll cams as an extra bonus. I gave it to Claire as a peace offering, saying that I was sorry for the accusations. Sounds stupid, I know. What are the chances she would even leave the doll around to let me listen in on her? But then, I know my wife. She is sweet and kind and loving, sure, but she is also very predictable. She put the stuffed doll exactly where I thought she would. I let a few more days pass, kept things amicable between us as I went to and from work. Then the next time I was off, when she again insisted that she didn't want to spend any time with me alone, I went to check the cameras. Finally, I could get the answers that I was looking for. The grainy tape started up around 13 minutes past 7 the previous night. That was about half an hour after I left for work, and I saw my wife sitting there on the bed, wearing nothing but a sheer robe staring up at the ceiling. At first I was puzzled over what she might be doing. She was perfectly still, her back turned against the camera as she took off her robe, and I saw what looked like little marks on the edge of her shoulders. Then I saw a white man enter the picture, and I knew. I was right. I just didn't yet know how much more horrifying the truth was. She placed him on the bed, ready to mount him, and I almost wanted to turn and look away, disgusted with what she was about to do. But curiosity, or perhaps the masochistic need to see proof, kept me glued to the screen. I saw her move with him, a dance of intimacy that was nauseating to witness, but something wasn't right. Her face, eerily enough, remained as neutral as if she were doing a mundane chore. Minutes felt like hours as I watched with rage. As I was about to stop the recording, she stealthily reached over to the bedside drawer. I watched in horror as she pulled out a gleaming knife and in one swift motion plunged it into the man's chest. Blood spurted out, staining the white sheets. The man gurgled and convulsed for a few moments before going still. My heart raced, my stomach churned. The woman I loved was a psychopath, performing a completely calculated and emotionless murder. What horrified me even more was the calm, cold manner she displayed afterward, wiping the knife on the sheet, cleaning up the mess, and disposing of the body as if it were second nature. I always thought the bedsheets were oddly clean, as if she was hiding something. I just never could have imagined it would be this. I felt a combination of disgust, hatred, and fear. The thought of confronting her was terrifying, but I also felt a burning need for revenge. In my distraught state, my thoughts become twisted and dark. What if she was now plotting to murder me too? I paused the footage, my mind racing. I knew what I had to do. Plans of revenge consumed me. What horrified me the most is how normal she acted over the next few days. That's why I felt no remorse in making my plans of revenge. We hadn't really spoken much since my cheating accusations, so I made the first move. "Hey babe," I said to her as we were watching TV. "I just wanted to say, I'm so sorry I ever even considered that you might be cheating on me. I've been a mess with work recently, and I think the stress got to my head. I really appreciate that, dear. I'm also sorry I've been so distant. The pregnancy is really messing with my hormones. I really want us to work this out for the child." "Date night?" I suggested suspiciously. She looked surprised but agreed, and after a beautiful candle-lit final meal at a steak restaurant, I knew this was finally my chance. We hurried home, both excited to get into bed, and I immediately started unbuttoning her, consumed by fear with the knowledge that there was a murder tool in my own bedside cabinet. When in bed, I produced handcuffs, telling her it was a game. Before she could react, I had her bound by the hands, mouth, and feet. My mind was a blur, consumed with anger and thoughts of the child she might be carrying, the offspring of that other man. My hands trembled, the sharp blade feeling heavy as lead in my back pocket, but my anger and need for revenge pushed me onward. The only thought that consumed me was the need to know, to see for myself the proof of her betrayal. She tried screaming the instant I presented it from my back pocket, knowing exactly what was going to happen to her. I made the incision, the cold steel biting into her warm flesh. Every part of me screamed that this was wrong, but I was beyond reason. If my wife is carrying someone else's baby, that baby shouldn't be born. Blood began to seep, painting a crimson pattern on the pristine white sheets. It was a horrifying tableau, the remnants of a love lost and a mind unhinged. I delved deeper until I finally caught sight of the unborn child. Rage flooded my veins as I proceeded. She wasn't going to get an abortion for someone else's child. I would do it myself. I was controlled completely by my own lividity. I closed my eyes so as to not see my beautiful wife in agony, but I had to do this. It was the only way. I let out a sigh of relief, knowing that whoever's baby that was, he was no longer with us. That was until I finally opened my eyes, and the horrific realization struck me. The mangled child was dark-skinned, had my own nose, mirrored everything about me. The child was unmistakably mine.